Hey, it's Kim Snyder, the creator of thevoiceclub.com and founder of the Voice Club Academy. Did you know that you might be undermining all those hours of careful planning and lots of rehearsals? Do you want to know how? I'm here to tell you about 5 ways to ruin a great worship vocal. Let's start with number 5. The 5th way to ruin a great worship vocal is to get off to a wimpy start. Whenever you start the first song, the first note of your worship set, here's what happens a lot of times. People get up there and they start singing kind of soft because we're warming the crowd up, you know. Blessed be thy name in a land. And we're just kind of chilling out, right? Well, here's what happens. The chords, the vocal cords, aren't closed. And the chords have to be closed to make good quality sound. So what happens is they start open. And once they start open through at least the phrase and generally the entire song, the voice stays at a weaker position. So we need to fix that. And here's what we do to fix that. Vocal fry. That's the sound of the chords connecting. If you do that as slow as you can, you get a feeling of what that feels like. Now, you're not going to start your song with unless you're like doing metal or something like that. Maybe metal worship, maybe. I don't know. But blessed be your name. You can take a little connect those chords. Once you connect those chords, they stay connected, at least through the phrase, generally through the whole song. Get in the habit of connecting that first word. So we'd go, blessed be your name in a land that is plentiful. You'll find the whole phrase is stronger because the chords are connected. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. All right, number 4 way to ruin a great worship vocal is to forget about vocal dynamics. Now, when we sing a song at the same intensity, forget the band, just our voices. When we sing a song at the same intensity, we tell the audience that the message really doesn't matter to us, because if we talk to somebody and we talk monotone all the time and here's the story of my life and it means so much to me, no one buys that. Why? Because the voice inflection has so much to do with how people perceive if we believe what we're saying or what we're singing. The band has dynamics. They work at planning where they're going to build. Where's that build up going to be? Where are we calming down? Where are we getting really sparse? All of those things. Well, your speech, just like I said, your speech has dynamics. Your speech has dynamics. There you go. There it is. Your singing should have dynamics too. All the time. Like, take for a great example, Revelation song, one of my very favorites. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty. It's a beautiful melody, right? It kind of has a swing and a sway in it. If you did nothing to this song, it's a beautiful song. Most worship songs don't have as much to work with melodically as this song does. But think about what can happen when you add vocal dynamics to it. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. Okay, so when you think about the ebb and the flow of a wave, whoosh, where does the music lend itself to some vocal dynamics? It doesn't matter if it's you're on worship team, you're in the choir, you're leading worship. Your voice should have dynamics at all times in worship. All right. Number 3 way to ruin a great worship vocal is to bury the melody in your styling. Now, let me just say a caveat here. I love vocal styling. I love the runs and the trills and to go to town. And I tell you what, when I'm singing a really great worship song and it's not annoying or distracting to anyone, I will go completely off the edge because it's fun and it's an expression of my personal worship. But like I said, if I'm not bugging anybody and I'm not distracting from anything anyone else is doing. But here's what happens when we do this, and it's tempting, I got to tell you, as a past worship leader, it's very tempting to kind of just, I've sang this song 50 million times, I love this song, I just want to go off and do this little glistening thing right here in the first verse. But what happens is that it takes the ear several times of hearing a song all the way through, several Sundays of hearing the same melody before they really catch on enough to feel comfortable singing along. And we don't want to just be performing worship, we want to be inviting others to join us in worship. So it's really, really essential that we avoid the temptation to stylize the melody before the second or ideally the third verse on a brand new song. So this is why we sing a song, 3 Sundays in a row, or we try to keep, we're repeating it and then 2 weeks later we revisit it again so that people can sing it. Well, what happens to us as worship leaders, whether you're on the team, the choir, or the worship leader, is we think, Oh, well, we've repeated this is the third time, so I can just kind of go do my thing. No, because the first verse, especially, there are always new people, we hope, in our congregation that are going to still need to kind of establish that melody. But still, those people that are feeling like they might know it, they've heard it, they were there 2 weeks ago or last week when you sang it, they think they know it, they're going to attempt to sing along. As soon as they hear you go someplace else, it scares them off and they'll tend to back off and not sing along. So it's always better to keep it simple. Keep it simple just till the congregation really gets it. Always simple in the first verse. So you've been doing it for a while, just keep the first verse really pretty straight to the melody. Blessed be your name in a land that is plentiful. Just keep it pretty basic. And then when you get later in the song, they've heard it a few times, then you can go do your fun stuff. All right. Number 2 way to ruin a great worship vocal is to make repeats repetitive. That was repetitive. All right. So to keep a listener's attention, something has to change in the repeat. We don't think about this. Worship music repeats more often than most music. It used to be, a long time ago, bands would, you'd go see your favorite band live and they would repeat the song for 15 minutes, right? Just because everybody loved the song so much. Well, worship music kind of does it. Sometimes we can have 3, 4, 5, 6 choruses in a song, and everybody's getting into the worship, and there's a lot of things that we build into a song to make it build momentum. But a lot of times we don't think about the vocal building momentum. We think about, we're going to ramp up the intensity. The drum's going to really kick in here, and the guitar is going to go a little crazy here, and this is how we're going to build the intensity on that repeat. But think about this. Every time a repeat happens, we need something to change. Sometimes it is I would say all the time in worship music, it's the instrumentation that is setting the pace. Not always. It doesn't always have to be. A lot of people just don't know that it could just be a vocal change, and it should be a vocal change on top of an instrumental change. So what do I mean? Let's say you're the worship leader, you're singing a solo, you're singing a worship song. You can change the dynamics. Again, we just talked about dynamics. You really do that. You can punch notes. You can add trills or things that you can do once we've established. We've come back and we've repeated that. We're on the third time. Let's add some vocal jewelry to it. So if we take, He loves us, oh, how He loves us, oh, how. It's beautiful melody. Once you get to about the 4th time of that chorus, it gets a little sing-songy and you're like, all right, okay, all right. He loves us, oh, how He loves us, oh, how He loves us. So press something into that. As a solo voice, you can do that as long as, like we said, you've established the melody. If you're in a group, you're on the worship team or you're in the worship choir and you're backing all that up, think beyond parts. We do tend to add a lot of change in, the altos are going to kick in here, and then the sopranos get in here, and then the guys take this second part over here. That is vocal change. It absolutely is. But think outside the box a little bit. What can you do dynamically with your group? Where are parts where the same thing, He loves us, maybe the whole worship choir presses into loves. Wouldn't that be powerful? That would be so great. Or another thing people don't think about instrumentation, mirroring instrumentation changes. So maybe you have a bass walk up. Maybe your worship team on a unison note walks up with a bass. He loves us, oh, how He loves us, oh, how, and they just kind of walk up with the bass. It can be really powerful, and it can add something new to listen to. Our ears get bored easily, so remember, if it's a repeat, don't let it get repetitive. And the number 1 way to ruin a great worship vocal is to focus on the singing and not on the song. Now, I am a voice coach. I am all about the singing, but here's the thing. A song is just a story told through notes. That's really all it is. Singing, which is your technique work, building the vocal muscles and building the way that you get at notes and making it easy and making your range twice as big. All of that stuff is technique. Then there's styling, which is how to dress it up. There's memorizing and practice. There's all these things that go into singing. Those are all to be done before the service. And it might surprise you to know that a lot of singers don't know this. They don't know that the only thing that should happen once you hit that stage is your pure expression of worship. That should be it. It's delivering the message. That's when you say it's time to deliver this message to people, and so that they can mirror the message and worship alongside me. None of that stuff should happen on stage. None of that, oh, I got to worry about can I reach this note, or what's that word coming up? That should never happen on stage. Once the time you hit that stage, all that stuff should be done so that you can deliver the message. Make sure that if you work with other singers, that they understand that it's really, really important. A lot of them would totally be on board to do that. They just don't know it. So make sure they do. Start, first of all, the first word of every song strong. This is how you're going to avoid killing your great worship vocals. Start the word strong. Better is one day in your house. Better is, dig into that consonant a little bit with a little Then use dynamics to tell the story. Don't forget vocal dynamics. Your styling should be used only after the melody is established and your people can know it at least past the first verse. And don't forget to make a change at the repeat so it's not too repetitive. And the last thing is to never work on your singing in a service. You know, there's no story in the world more worth telling than the story of God's redemptive power. Don't you agree? And it's worth all the effort to sharpen our skills. We work on our instrumentation, we work on our arrangements, we work on our song selection, we work on all these other things. We also need to be working on our voices and what we do with our voices in a worship service to help our fellow lead worshipers know how to do the same. So as you grow personally, then you teach somebody else. Somebody will say, man, I just so enjoy watching you worship. I just don't know what it is about your voice. Then you can share them. Well, I work on these things and I work on these things and I prepare these things so that when I get on stage, I can authentically worship and there's nothing in my way. So there'll be nothing in the way of people watching me to keep them from wanting to worship along with me. It's always, all these things that we do are never to grandstand or to show off what we can vocally do, but they're so the message can be given with the passion and the authenticity and the excellence that they deserve.